go.
All right, guys, we're back. Thank you for joining us again. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. This is Half Baked Sports. Today we're talking about the Eagles and should they trade away or get rid of or shop higher. If you want to word this, Carson Wentz.
I'll take the first dib at that one.
Ain't no lie, that's
Go
one of the
ahead,
best
Kendall.
intros I've heard in a while.
Kendall will take the first spot on this.
Well, let's rehash on the whole carousel, and we'll say quarterbacking carousel, it seems. My biggest issue is looking at the veteran quarterbacks, gentlemen, versus the rookie quarterbacks. This past season, I'm sure everyone's noticed that there were more rookies playing over the veterans. Of course, we named teams and stuff, but it's kind of not a nail biter, but it makes you wonder, okay, are they overlooking the veterans now, or is it just the way it's just going to?
Well, I mean, if you take a look, the cliche is the veterans, as you will, they get old, they don't have, the zip on the ball, or they don't have something, they're lacking an X factor.
Yeah.
And that's why the rookies are pretty much praised more than the veterans. But it depends on who you're talking about. Like, if you're talking about Aaron Rodgers, who I think has still got at least another 2 to 3 years, if not 4. Russell Wilson's got at least another 4 years left in him.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about veterans like Drew Brees, who maybe only have another year if he decides to play, Rivers, who, as we already know, is officially retired.
Miami. Versus
Ryan Fitzpatrick is a very good example. He's been basically a journeyman QB veteran.
Yeah.
If you take a look, he really hasn't been a solid starter since the Houston Texans. I mean, granted, I know he was a starter.
Yeah.
Well,
I know he was a starter with the Jets.
He was pretty good with the Jets. And
exactly.
in Miami, he was doing pretty good.
And I was just about to bring that up. So outside of the Jets, which is true, I agree, he was the solid starter there. Miami, I think he was the placeholder. He was there. I don't think even they pulled him the minute they wanted to throw in Tua. Yeah. So yeah, and but see Ryan Fitzpatrick, because he hasn't had to, live and die by the game, he's been a solid journeyman.
Yeah, and he has longevity.
He has longevity because he doesn't have the hits.
Yeah,
right.
So I would like to see him land in a spot to where he could do something. Finish out
great.
Finish out solid.
Yeah.
I mean, if he could go to a team and actually get, maybe not win the Super Bowl, but get to the Super Bowl, I would love it.
Well, you look at a team that needs a quarterback right now. Phillip Rivers just retired.
Yep, Colts is definitely
Colts
a prime.
have Jacoby Brissett, and he's not proven, but he's not unproven. He's still learning the game. He's still growing. He's been on 2 different teams in the last 5 years. You got Carson Wentz. You got Jalen Hurts over here in the Eagles. You don't need both of them there. One of them is a cap space holder. If you get rid of the cap space holder, where do you send them? What can you get for them? Colts. First place I would shop is the Colts. Second place I would
especially
shop.
if you take a look at what they were paying Rivers. So that's going to be pretty comparable to what Wentz is demanding. So that would be a good spot.
And I know this is hard for Kendall, but I would shop him towards San Francisco.
Not gonna happen.
And the reason I'm saying is you shop him to San Francisco. It's going to do one or two things. It's going to either light a fire up on the Garoppolo and say, "Hey, get off your ass, man. You got somebody."
I think Garoppolo's a free agent.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Already?
Already?
I think Garoppolo's
Well,
a free agent.
if whether he is or not, if you want to keep him,
Just
hey,
got
we
there.
bringing in Wentz. You're going to have to show me which one of y'all want this job more.
True.
There are a lot of teams you can do this with.
But
There are a lot of teams you can do this
my
with.
number one question here is, and of course we really don't know. I don't even know how to ask this question, because when you take a look at what they did to Hurts while he was there, I mean, and they pulled him for the third string to see what they had. I mean, and we know that there's a controversy there, because had they won that game, everybody knows Giants would have been in the Super Bowl and not the yeah. But anyway, so moving on.
It's happened before.
I know, but when you take a look at it, I like Jalen Hurts. I think he would do well. I would like to see what he's capable of.
But
And it's sad that we were robbed of that during the playoff, or right leading up to the playoff.
Right then and there, when they made that move, to me that told me they were more worried about a draft pick than they were. about winning the
Because
game and going to.
what was the stat on that? How many draft positions did they boost up?
They boosted up, I think, to number 12 from.
So they went basically 3 draft positions.
No. They moved from 12 to
Eagles.
8.
No, they went from 9 to 6.
9 to 6.
Yeah, so
Okay.
three-
So
Right,
they,
right, during
to
that
them-
game,
to me,
great
they were
spots.
they
They
were
went to-
rare. Like everybody through the whole season saying the Jets throwing games, Jets won a game and pushed them out of the number one
Jets
draft.
weren't throwing
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah, the one game you won
They
pushed
were
you
not
out
throwing
of
the
the
games.
push you out. They were not
Excuse me.
throwing games. They just couldn't
Jet-
finish games.
Jets didn't have any weapons.
They just had
And they wound up winning the game. And so when I look at this, I'm looking at like you blatantly threw a game for draft picks where somebody won a game and lost the number 1 draft pick. I'd rather play for the Jets than the Eagles any day of the week.
Oh,
This
exactly.
is how you guys are going to operate.
I mean,
I don't want to
Well,
do it.
that was a Doug Peterson move.
Yeah.
That one.
But I'm just saying it doesn't matter. I don't want to. I don't want to play for you. I
Well,
want to
look-
win games. I don't want to lose.
Let's take a
games.
look on strategy though, because look, you know what you have,
Yeah.
and so on this is definitely something to be discussed maybe on the competition committee of the NFL, because you're playing a game, you know, by doing the math in your head, you know, if I lose this game, my draft status is going to be up here. If I win this game, my draft status is going to be down here. Now I know that 3 positions may not seem much, but even if it was just 2 in their head, they go, shit, we'll move up 2 positions. Who wouldn't want to do that as an organization?
They wouldn't do that, but the reason why they really don't have a rule on it because it's an unspoken rule because it destroys the integrity of the game.
And that's my point.
But we saw it on live TV
but we
that
know
they destroyed
they-
the integrity of the
Yeah,
game.
that's
that.
why I believe
And I
the
know,
NFL's going to do.
and I know
I think
that it's
Goodell's going to
intentional.
do something
but
about
see,
that.
But this is the problem. You can't it's like forced performance. You cannot force someone to perform. It's like
Right.
going to the Olympics and you've got 3 people and the guy knows is like, I just need to do 3rd place and I'm good.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
So he's not putting out his best effort. He just knows that if he does this, that like let's take a look at the Worlds, right? Not the Olympics, but going into the Worlds. If he knows that all he needs to do is make that 3rd or 4th spot,
He's on
and
the
then
team.
that gets him on the team, but then that saves his energy for the next competition, which is the Olympics. That's what I'm saying. That's kind of what they're equating this to.
Right.
And you can't force someone to perform. I mean, because look, especially in the NFL, where anything can go wrong.
Well, like
I looked at it this way: win this game, I'm in the playoffs. Lose this game, I get 6th round draft. I'll get the 6th pick in the draft.
well, even if they
I'd
won the
rather
game,
go
they
to
wouldn't
the
have been
playoffs
No, they wouldn't.
than worry about the
Eagles
goddamn
wouldn't have
draft
been the
pick.
playoffs.
No, playoffs was
they-
not. Yeah,
Yeah, they were out of the playoffs no matter what.
but it
I
was a
thought
matter.
if
No,
we go watch
No, what
If-
happened? If the
if
Eagles had won, the
then
Giants,
would
would
go
go
to the playoffs.
Totally been.
But
Yeah.
if the Eagles had lost, I mean, but they lost. Washington went to the playoffs. That's what it
Yeah.
was, and that's why the Giants were pissed off because they knew that they threw the game.
Yeah.
That's why I said it destroys the.
Everybody knew
integrity
they
of
threw the game. As soon as they pulled Hurts
Yeah.
from
That was
the
it.
starting
You already
position,
knew what
everybody
you were
knew.
doing.
But
You
you already
telegraphed your move.
But when
Yeah.
you don't, when we talk,
And
so
so-
that's why.
and my
That's why I
point-
asked this question.
My point is,
That's why I asked this question.
okay, but my point is, he didn't need to pull Hurts. All he needed
Yeah.
to do is have his offensive coordinator pull some bullshit plays.
Call a run play.
Or
Whatever.
pull some
Exactly.
offensive lineman, or
Then it wouldn't have been so blatant.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been as blatant.
But
it still would have had the same outcome.
But you have
I
a coach
agree,
come on
dude.
TV and say, "I did the best thing I could do to win the game."
no, what he said was
Are you
I was trying to
fucking
test out.
stupid?
He said I was trying to test out the 3rd string quarterback, which
Yep.
they knew he'd been on the team for
He
4 years.
hadn't played
You
the
already-
game.
Wait.
Yeah.
Like, if I was going to use an excuse, I wouldn't use that. Because, first of all, I think his name is Gil Hurts or whatever his name was. He's been on the team for 4 years. You already know what he was.
You've got you've got 4 years of preseason and camps.
You know what he was. Jalen Hurts out of nowhere came and beat him out. You know what you got. Like, what are you talking about? But
Look,
the reason why I agree with what you're saying is because Usain Bolt did it in the Olympics when he beat the world record. He didn't run as at the
No,
end.
he didn't.
He slowed
He slowed
down
down, yeah.
because he knew he won.
Yeah, he knew he had the
Yeah.
record.
And he already knew he had the record, so why did he do it anymore? So that's why I agree. I see what you're
And
saying.
that was just the analogy to
Yeah.
show you that
I
it's
see
a
what you're
strategy.
saying.
But
You're in the World Cup. You're not there to break the record. You
Right.
want to do that in the
And
end.
Olympics.
Right.
because you have an Olympic record and you have your world
But I
record.
mean, when he
But-
did it, he broke the record, but he just slowed down because
Yeah.
he was like,
And-
"This is just
But with this one here,
at this point.
with this one here, like with that's a ethics committee question in the
It is.
NFL, and I think somebody needs to get on that.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Because
You had teams busting their ass trying to win games and just fell short all year long, and then here you go, just say fuck it on national TV.
Because
Literally.
my this is the only reason I agree with what they're saying about the integrity of the game. If that's the case, you can do stuff like that. Then I think what's his name, the baseball player that bet on the game,
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose, then he should be in the Hall of Fame.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
And I've had this.
Here's our baseball segment. Yes, Pete Rose should be in the Hall
He
of
should
Fame.
be in the Hall of Fame. If you're gonna allow this or you're gonna look over this, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
And this is what I'm going to say on that, because I've actually looked on this. Somebody had me, do my little research before we even started doing this little podcast, and taking a look at Pete Rose's stats. Yes,
His numbers alone.
stats alone
Stats
put him in the Hall of Fame.
yeah.
Why is he blackballed? Is
Because
solely
he gambled.
because
And he
he
didn't even
gambled.
gamble to lose. He gambled to win. His team was gonna win.
Right.
He didn't gamble that his team was gonna lose.
Well,
he gambled his team was gonna win.
I would say 80% of the time you're correct. There were at least a few bets where he had on them to lose, knowing that they were up against a better opponent.
Now, or people were hurt.
That's
Called insider trading. That's called a hookup. I'm sorry. It's called a hookup. I know some shit. I'm gonna make some money off of it.
And look, and the problem that it presents, and this is the conclusion that I came to. It doesn't matter what your knowledge is of your team and that team and who's the better team. Because now it puts into question, did you truly do your best
To win these games.
to win that game?
Yeah.
Right.
And just the sheer question makes it very difficult to put a quantifying label on it. And that's why when you get into the realm of gambling, because there's that whole consciously, subconsciously, where you're pitting against yourself.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm the gambler of the group here. I know you guys don't dabble in it
Well,
like I
we
do.
gamble. He don't. He gamble with other shit.
Well, I'm talking about sports betting because
the
I know we're all poker players minus Kendall over here, but there are times where it's like I'm rooting for a team to win, but in my heart I know the other team's going to win. So it's like, who do you bet for?
Well, it's like, okay,
That's the
this
interesting
season
thing.
this
Sports
season in
gambling.
pool host. I picked the Texans. What? Out of 16 games, I picked
16
14.
games.
I know. I two of them I didn't pick because I knew they were going to win. I almost picked them every game, and the thing was because I'm rooting for you, but at the same token, somewhere it's like you're so close every time. I got to give you the benefit of the doubt, but I'm not. Did I ever bet against you? Hell, fuck yeah, I did. Yes, I bet against you. I'm sorry, y'all my team, but I'm wearing black for a reason. I bet against you because you went against some teams that when they went up there and got their ass handed to us by Green Bay. I'm like, I knew Green Bay was gonna win the game. But I still picked you anyway.
So we can all agree
Well,
that
Green Bay destroyed. It was Chicago or Green Bay. One of them destroyed like.
It was
42-7.
the Titans game.
No, not that. No, the Titans game. Both of them were close. It was the one.
Right, but they should have won it. But
they should have won both of them.
They
games.
should have won both.
Yeah,
of
they should
them.
have won both of
Yeah.
the Coke games. I mean, shit.
No, there's one cold game.
Well, one
that
game,
was solid.
yeah, but I'm saying though, you were close to winning game, but you didn't. But the one game, it was against Green Bay. They went up to Green Bay, and I knew they were gonna win, but they wasn't gonna win, and I still picked them anyway.
Yeah.
It's not some. That's a loyalty thing. But you're Pete Rose. I'm betting on baseball. I'm betting. Okay, I'm betting against my team. I'm betting for my team. If I'm playing for the Reds, Cincinnati Reds, and I know we ain't got our best pitcher out there. We missing half our two of our best players are out. Sorry, I'm making money off of it.
Well, and the sad thing is that
He made more money off of the wins than he did the losses.
The sad thing is that he is actually getting judged for the betting that he did as a manager,
Yeah.
and none of the bettings that he did as a player.
True.
Because
Well,
the
it's kinda worse.
bookie that got busted and the logs that they got were from when he was a manager,
not a player.
and not as much as when he was a player.
So I'm since we're off topic.
Way off topic. Sorry, y'all.
So
this happens.
this happens.
So speaking of the Hall of Fame, should the Hall of Fame be about stats or popularity, likability?
That's a good question, John. What do you got on this?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Right now, I think the Hall of Fame is about likability. It's not about stats. There are players with great stats that will never make the Hall of Fame, and there are players who had rings on their finger who probably never even played the game. But we had like 3, 4, 5 good years, but the rest of them were mediocre. They're going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Kendall, what do you got on that?
I agree and disagree to that. But
Man, how the fuck you
Well,
do
wait,
that?
what do you disagree with?
because you want to kind of look at it the other way around. But then is it the whole factor about a game being thrown?
No, we're not talking about
No,
that.
we're not talking
We're
about
talking
that.
about the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, period.
Should a player get in based on stats,
Based on stats
or
or
because
that-
you like him?
Or more of a popularity?
Because
I'd
he's
say
popular.
based on stats.
Based on stats?
Based on stats, yeah.
Sure.
I would say
It's-
stats.
It's,
I would say stats.
it's got to be 100% stats because think about it. Like there's a difference between T.O. and I will say
Chad Ochocinco.
No. Chad should be Ochocinco should be in the Hall of Fame too because he's a transcender of the game because nobody cuts routes like he did. Like he cut a route, he got separation. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
gone. Nobody has ever repeated that. You can't. That was
I
awesome.
That's true.
think
But
that
I
he
think-
showed his knowledge of the defenses too. Because look, people will always say the QB's key on defenses. I think he did the same thing. That's
Yeah.
why his route cuts
Yeah.
were.
Well, just
were-
so difference of like
he
He
vicious,
was
like
cutting
he
like
left
a
that
yard
person.
too short
Yeah,
instead of
yeah.
running the whole 10 and up. He will do a 9
That's why
or
when-
8.
when-
When Josh asked this question, ladies and gentlemen, I'm real simple with it. If you put in a great body of work, you should be in the Hall of Fame. If you whether you got a ring or
I
not.
can't say that.
All right.
Whether you got
And-
okay, well,
and
hold on. When he said that, do you think Andre Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald should be in the Hall of Fame?
Because they're transcenders. Andre Johnson and Calvin Johnson transformed their game. When
Yeah.
you got a receiver like that, Michael Metcalf,
Yeah,
the
Metcalf.
Seattle,
the one right now.
Beasley.
Well, Cole Beasley, yes.
Big-
But they're still playing.
He's in a Wes Welker, Julian Edelman area.
But
yeah,
that's
I'll
what
give
I'm
him that.
saying, though.
But what I'm saying
if you
is,
put in a great body of work, that should get you in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Not because you got Super Bowl rings.
no, I'm not talking about Super Bowl ring. What I'm saying
Well,
is Andre
let's
Johnson
not-
and Calvin Johnson. You could see that when they're on when they're on the field, you had to put 3 people on them just to even have a chance
to stop.
and knock
And
the
see,
ball
and
down.
now we're getting into the difference of position.
Yeah.
Now, as we've known and we've seen, if you've got a good body of work, as you were saying, and you're a running back, or if you're a receiver or a tight end, then you get looked at. But when it comes to QB, if you
gotta
don't have a championship or two,
You gotta have
Yeah.
a ring.
you don't get looked at. I mean, and honestly,
Dan
and
Marino.
let me put it this way, because Dan Marino by far, as we can all agree on,
His body of work.
Yeah.
There's
That's-
transcend-
yes.
But he's a transcender though. Like
True.
he transformed the game. Him. Then before him was Roger Staubach and Ken Stable.
What was it? Greasy.
Like,
the Greasy.
Well, and
the
even
father.
and I even
the father.
equate
Bob
Rivers.
Greasy. Bob Greasy.
I equate Philip Rivers as our generation's Dan Marino
Yeah, right.
because he's done a great job. Although he's
Yeah,
made some
right.
mistakes, he's got the
but he made his
receptions
mistakes
that-
made at the end of his
I would say
career.
Philip Rivers more Brett Favre, but Brett Favre.
Oh yeah, I'll give you that. He is
he's a
bit of
gambler on that
But-
throwing that ball. Like,
Both of them are.
But the other thing, the other coin, the side of the coin that I want to point out is let's not forget Schaub.
hell no.
Because take a look. If you take a look at
Team.
stats, if you want to
Forgot
say
about that.
body of work, but what was wrong with what was wrong with Schaub?
Why is it that every time I try to forget about Mad Shot, y'all bring him back in my head?
So that's why I said.
Oh my god!
That's why I said.
And ultimately,
That's why I said stats.
But that's a
are not
popularity
everything.
thing also.
and ultimately that
You
is
got the stats,
exactly
but you got the popularity
because he does.
side.
He's got the yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you take a look at yards per pass and all that kind of stuff, he's a
But
great
he
passer.
has the yards based on one receiver. So is it the receiver or is it him? Because if Andre Johnson wasn't there, he was getting yards. I'm just saying.
He is right. He is right on that one.
That's just me.
Touche.
He is right on that.
Like Dan Marino and all them who have the stats, they could name every receiver that throws it. He can name you one.
Exactly.
Andre Johnson on the field, I just threw it up there. He caught it. So is that your ability, or is that because Andre Johnson was just that good?
He was that good.
Okay, with I think that answers that question, but we can touch on this one again.
But yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you.
But when
I
it comes
really-
down to a Hall of Fame, I think should be body of work. I don't think that that the championship should be that big of a factor as it is.
It
But
should
it is.
But it
It
is.
shouldn't. It shouldn't because, like I said, if that's the case, then Eli Manning should get in, and I don't like it. I don't like. I'm not saying I don't like him. I don't like the way he's getting in because
2 rings.
Because first of all, the one season he was 9-7.
Yep.
You shouldn't even been in the playoffs. And then the other one you were 8-8. Like, how are you even in the playoffs?
Well,
Shit, look what the Redskins did. What,
Yeah.
5, 6, and 10?
Yeah.
And during those years, that was some heavy hitting years
Right.
with Tony Romo.
They were going. They were shootouts.
They were shootouts. They were. I mean, there was.
I don't know what
the
was
NFC
happening this
East-
year.
The NFC East was always known for beating each other up to where only one person was coming out of that.
And
Right.
you look at this year, even with the COVID shit going on, there was still it was almost a 3. But Dak
It was a
Prescott,
three-way tie.
if Dak
Yeah.
Prescott wouldn't have went down, I guarantee you
Dallas
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 would
would've
have
won.
won.
Yeah, Dallas would
Dallas would have won. Yeah.
But not taking nothing from you, Dalton. But I'm saying
I'm taking everything. If Dak Prescott was there, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Dallas would be
Andy
the
Dalton
division.
let all of us down. Because we remember even before
I
that,
talked
we were
about
preseason, we were like,
rooting
look,
for him.
don't let Andy Dalton touch the field
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we thought that Andy Dalton was going to take his job.
Same thing with
And
the
we were
Bengals versus the
surprised.
Texans. Every time they got to the playoffs, whether the Bengals had home field advantage or the Texans had home field advantage, Andy Dalton did not show up.
Right.
He did not show up.
Let's go ahead and wrap this segment up, gentlemen.
But
It's
I
always
just
a
want-
pleasure, but we could go on forever.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes we do. But I just want to say one more thing about this Hall of Fame thing.
All right.
And it's real simple. You look at these guys, they body of work. If you're an asshole out there doing dumb shit, and you put up 20,000 yards worth of receiving now, you messing with my kid's mind or seeing you do this, but you're doing this. No. If you're a good person, I ain't gonna say great person, good person,
Well, then
whatever.
that's
But
popularity.
no, not about popularity. But I'm talking about being an asshole. When I say being an asshole, like Antonio Brown,
Like Tom
being an
Brady.
asshole.
But if Antonio Brown,
He's being an asshole.
but Antonio Brown, even now, as him being subpar, he's still a top 5 receiver.
He's still an
Yeah.
asshole.
It doesn't matter. I don't care about you liking him.
Stats.
Pete Rose
Stats.
was a nice guy. He was not an asshole.
But it doesn't matter.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, don't. Okay.
He got snubbed for a whole other reason.
Yeah.
We're getting
Right.
into baseball again, so we need to stop that.
But the thing with the Hall of Fame is this. Honestly and truthfully, it should be based on if you're a transcender, a transcender of the game. You elevate the game, but then you also have the stats. So my point is this. I'm gonna end it with this. There's a difference between Peyton Manning and Eli Manning.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's a big difference.
Yes, it is. But they both have the same amount of rings.
But then you look at the dad.
No.
Look at
They
the dad.
both have the same
Hold
amount of
on.
rings.
Look at the dad.
Yeah.
Hey, well, should we bring that into our pregame show?
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We talk about the rings.
Do we want to talk about the stats for Eli and Peyton?
Right.
Please put that in there.
Hey, did you guys even watch that Colin Cowherd where they were going Brady and Breeze?
Yeah.
Oh
Did you
yeah,
watch- that was good, right?
Yeah, it was
Maybe we should do the same thing for our pregame show.
For men, the
For-
man.
for the men.
But what I'm saying is this. I'm gonna end it with this. There's a difference. When I said the names, you automatically thought Peyton Manning should be in there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Why?
Brown ballot.
But then that's why Hall of Fame. Peyton Manning.
Yep.
That's
Well,
why.
I think some of
Eli Manning.
Well, Eli Manning, he's going to get in because of his name alone. Archie Manning.
He's a
His
man.
dad.
I
His
get that.
dad was a great quarterback.
Right.
He never won a ring.
Right.
All right.
Was on a losing team his whole career.
And on that note, we're out.